Okay, let's get going. Let's go ahead and pour some of our water into this jug and get that going. We're gonna fill it all the way up to that 1 gallon mark. All right, going in really. All right, and you see we filled really just up to where, it says 1 gallon, that mark there. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out some of this to compensate, because we're going to add an orange and we're also gonna add honey. So we're gonna take out a little bit to compensate for that. So we're gonna take out 1 cup to compensate for the orange section, and then we'll do 4.5 after that. So we'll take out the 1 cup first. Okay, and I'm just gonna pour that back in here. So that's to compensate for the oranges. And then we're gonna do 4.5 cups. And I've got my little measuring cup here that we had used previously. It's been all sanitized just to keep everything nice and clean. So here is, I'm taking out that 4.5. Okay, that's about 4.5 cups. It doesn't have to be right on the money, but close enough. Okay, so now you can see we have a little bit out of there, and this will keep that to the side. So we need 3 pounds of honey. So let's get that going into our jug down here. Go. Okay, and this is gonna take a little bit, but we'll let the honey free into the water at this point. With some of that water that's gonna go back in, you could probably thin it down a little bit to get it to flow just a tad little bit quicker. Okay, all done there. Now you take your sanitized hand and your sanitized stopper and plug over the top of the jar. And then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna mix, we're gonna aerate, really get that honey mixed in. And it's really good. The more you can aerate the mead, the butter, we wanna get as much oxygen into that water. Let's grab your test jar and your hydrometer. And this is sanitized, so I just pulled both of these out of the sanitizer. And now I'm going to carefully fill this little test jar up. And get the hydrometer to float. So you'll see it float up from the bottom, okay? So then what you're gonna do here is you're gonna spin it, give it a nice little spin, and then look for the reading. So mine is just 135. So I'm gonna write that down in my notebook, 1.135, and that's gonna be my beginning ABV read. Okay, so these were sanitized, so I am free to put it back into, carefully put it back into my jug. If you didn't sanitize, just toss it out, because you don't want to get any contamination there. All right, so we read the ABV, so that is awesome. Okay, if you would want to, you could take a sneak peek sip here. All right, so next up, we are going to add the orange. So what I like to do is I like to wash the orange off real quick. And then we're just gonna segment it into pieces. I'm gonna take the ends off. And then we're just gonna section it up. And push it on in. This is one of the beautiful things of this process, is these ingredients that you add in can give different flavors and dimensions. I love the citrusy feel of the orange. I'm gonna go for more of the center sections here. You can see I'll just poke those in. And you can add as many of these as you would like. As many or as few it. I'm gonna get it pretty loaded up. I'm gonna load it up with some oranges here. Yeast up and going. But we're gonna add a piece of cinnamon stick. I'm gonna get a couple of these cloves in and some raisins. Those will kind of sweeten it up as well. And then just a little bit of nutmeg. Put that in. Okay. I'm just now realizing that I put the orange in ahead of the yeast, but no worries. Either way works. It's all good. My directions have it the other way, but all right. Now we're gonna put a teaspoon of this yeast on in. Okay, and this is where it gets exciting and the magic really starts. Okay, this is my absolute favorite part. So we're gonna swirl it around. Let's get the yeast all mixed in. Like, get some really good, air mixed in with your yeast and your water and the honey. This again is where the really cool magic begins. So, place the airlock in to the top of the stopper. Get it in there nice and firm. Okay. And then what I generally do is I go back for a little bit of sanitizer and put it in the top here just to really keep the bad bacteria out, but let the good bacteria escape. Okay, so we're going to do that, and what you're going to see in this next 24 hours is there's going to be a lot of bubbling and popping up here, and it might sometimes the fermentation process backs up into this airlock. If it does, just take it apart, clean it, fill it with sanitizer or vodka, and keep on moving. But really exciting. Okay, here we go. You are in business. Now we're just going to wait for this Queen Bee Mead. We're going to wait for 2 months, put it in a cool, dark place, and let it work its magic. And then we'll see you in a couple months for bottling.